I know it gets talked about a lot in the world of e-commerce, but I'm willing to bet that most people don't really understand it. Or worse, they're looking at it in the wrong way. I want to talk to you today about a number that changes everything in your business once you get it right. It's not return on ad spend or ROAS. It's not revenue. It's not even profit on its own. It's customer lifetime value. Now, don't tune out just yet because you've heard people throw this term around before. I know it gets talked about a lot in the world of e-commerce, but I'm willing to bet that most people don't really understand it. Or worse, they're looking at it in the wrong way. And I've seen this firsthand. I was working with a founder who told me flat out, Jason, it's got too expensive to win new customers. The prices have gone up by more than 40% and we can't keep up with competitors who are spending more than us. Now, when I asked what their customers were worth, they couldn't answer. It turns out they were only looking at first order revenue. Not retention, no repeat orders, no margin, just the top line. And this is what happens if you just watch ROAS. And right there is part of the problem. If you don't know what a customer is actually worth over time, you're either underspending and not seeing meaningful growth, or you're overspending and it's costing you a small fortune. So knowing your customer lifetime value is great. You've won 50% of the battle, but being able to leverage your customer lifetime value to your advantage is the other part. Leverage is where you get to use your numbers to your advantage, whatever they are, so you can outspend your competitors, make more profit than ever before, and still grow your e-com store. I'm Jason Chappel, founder of Defiant and creator of e-commerce growth made easy. I help e-commerce founders from startups to brands doing multi-millions figure this out. And today, I'm going to break it down for you so you can master this yourself. Here's what we're going to cover: what customer lifetime value really is and why it matters, how to calculate it in a way that actually means something, and most importantly, how to use it to guide every marketing decision you make. And if you want a calculator that does this for you, you can download it for free below. The link's in the description. But stick with me here, because once you've seen this, you'll never look at your marketing decisions the same way again. Now, customer lifetime value gets dressed up in all sorts of acronyms: CLV, LTV, CLTV, take your pick. They all mean the same thing. It's the profit a customer brings to your brand over the time they stay with you. Profit, not revenue. And that distinction is key, because I don't care if someone spends $500 with you over 12 months. If it costs you $480 to serve them, that's not value. It's break even at best. So let's keep it simple. Customer lifetime value is the number that tells you how much profit you make from a customer across a given time period with your brand. You can run this over 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years. It's really up to you. And each one is going to give you a different number. If you're looking at shorter timeframes, this can be useful from a cash flow perspective, letting you know how much goes out and how much comes in. If you look over a longer period of time, you get to see the profit a customer really brings to the business, which you can then use to make longer term strategic decisions and start to get a solid view of how much you can really afford to spend on customer acquisition. So how do you work it out? Now, I'm going to give you a formula I use with clients. It's average order value multiplied by gross margin percentage minus your fees per order, multiplied by orders per year, multiplied by lifespan, minus acquisition cost, minus your retention cost multiplied by repeat orders. It looks like a bit of a monster, but let's break it down. Let's say you run a fashion brand. Your average order value is $50 and your gross margin is a nice healthy 70%. Your variable fees like payment and shipping are about $5 per order. And retention costs like email, offers, discounts are around $5 per repeat order. Let's say customers buy 3 times a year and they stick around for 2 years. And our costs are $25 to acquire a customer. Here's how it plays out. Order 1 at $50 gives you $30 contribution after costs. So $15 cost of goods and $5 variable fees. Then we subtract the acquisition fees at $25 and you're left with $5. Across year one, with 3 orders in total, that adds up to $150 customer spend, giving a $90 contribution minus the $25 acquisition cost. Then we need to subtract $5 per repeat order, so orders 2 and 3. That leaves you with $55 profit in year one. Year two, we get the same 3 orders as in year one, giving us $105 contribution. Subtract $30 for fees and retention. That's $5 for variable fees and $5 retention costs per order. There's no acquisition this time, as we acquired the customer last year, which leaves you $75 for the year. So when we look across 2 years, the customer lifetime value is $130. That's $55 in years 1 and $75 in year 2. Now there's a caveat. This doesn't make your whole business profitable, just your orders. You still need to cover fixed costs like salaries, rent, software, all that sort of stuff. But this gives you order level contribution, and that's the baseline for smart decisions. Obviously, this is giving us a customer lifetime value over 2 years. But if we looked at this over 30 days, it would look very different. In this example, this would only cover a single order, which after costs and fees would only give us $5 in customer lifetime value. This is great to know from a cash flow perspective, but doesn't help us if we're looking to be strategic with our customer lifetime value. So how do we use this to go beyond just knowing it? And this is where a lot of brands fall down. They calculate customer lifetime value, pat themselves on the back because it's high, and then do absolutely nothing with it. But I want you to be different. I want you to take your customer lifetime value and use it to guide every single decision you make in marketing. This is going to tell you exactly how much you can spend to acquire a customer and how aggressive you can be depending on your goals. So to get into this, let's talk ratios. I'm talking about customer lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio, or CLV to CAC. You've probably heard 3-to-1 thrown around. Spend $1 to get $3 back. And yes, that's a solid benchmark if you're looking for steady, sustainable growth. But it's not the only option. And crucially, it doesn't specify a time period. In my example, I'd be showing 1 to 5 over 30 days. So I spent $25 to acquire the customer and made $5 in profit. That doesn't look very healthy. If we looked over a 1-year period, we'd be at just over 2-to-1, with $25 spent and $55 profit. And my year 2 ratio would be just over 5-to-1. So I'm making $5 for every 1 spent. 3 time periods, different approaches to my marketing activity. If you're chasing market share and want to go aggressive, you might run closer to 2-to-1 or even lower. You're willing to break even or lose money up front because you know customer lifetime value is going to make it back for you down the line. If you're chasing profit, you might want 4-to-1 or 5-to-1. Spend less and keep more. But the key here is over what time period. The point is, the right ratio depends on your goals, what your cash position looks like, and the time period in which you want to hit it. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. So we need to make this real and usable for you in a real-world scenario. Say your customer lifetime value is $130 over 2 years, like in the example we ran. If you wanted to run a 3-to-1 ratio for sustainable, self-funded growth, you could push your target customer acquisition cost to about $43, which is significantly higher than the $25 we were paying. This means you could start to target wider audiences or use your budget to build brand awareness, moving more people closer to a purchase in the future. Hopefully you've realized that this means you can then stop as you have the budget to be paying above what you are now. If you want to be aggressive at 2-to-1, you can afford to spend up to $65. If you want to be ultra safe at 4-to-1, your ceiling would be $32. Now, imagine knowing those numbers as you plan your ads. Suddenly you're not guessing whether $50 per customer is too much. You know whether it fits your plan or not. And that's the whole point of customer lifetime value. It stops you making emotional or reactive decisions. It gives you a framework. So here's what I want you to do next. Don't just keep chasing cheaper customers or obsessing over ROAS. Run your own numbers. See what your customers are really worth and let that guide your next move. Because when you know your customer lifetime value, you stop second guessing. You know exactly how far you can push acquisition and know when to spend more and when to hold back and how to grow without burning through cash. If you want the calculator that does all of this for you and shows you your guardrails instantly, download it for free below. The link's in the description and it will save you hours. Most brands never do this work, but the ones that do, they're the ones outspending competitors and scaling on their terms. So go run your numbers, set your guardrails, and start letting customer lifetime value guide every marketing decision you make. I'll see you in the next one.